Hi, friends. So, congratulations, you made it through our first unit, Unit 5 in the Green Book. And today we're going to begin Unit 6. Um, in Unit 6, we really discuss common factors between numbers, GCF, greatest common factor, LCF, least common factor. Um, and that's really what we focus on in Unit 6. And as you can see on this board, I just want to give you an idea of why we learn these skills. If you've looked through the modules to see what's ahead, the last mark and period for you, I will teach you Unit 9. And Unit 9, you will be taught how to add and subtract fractions. And the key thing with add and subtract and fractions is you need to find a common denominator, meaning you can't add or subtract fractions unless the bottom number is the same. And in order to create a common denominator, it's essential that you understand common factors. Um, so that is why we're going through all of these units and we're teaching you how to identify the factors of a number. And now I'm teaching you how to identify common factors between two numbers because you will need to eventually, by the end of the school year, need to be able to identify common factors between two numbers to create a common denominator so that you can add and subtract fractions. So that is our end goal and game. That's what we are working towards this school year. So I just want to give you an idea of why we're doing what we're doing and where we're trying to get to. Okay. So with that said, let's start. So when we're looking for common factors, you can choose any two numbers. For this lesson, I chose 12 and 16. And so you want to think back. So you're going to make a factor list. So think back to Unit 5, we made factor lists. Whichever way is easier for you. If you need to go through the factor arc that I showed you, or the factor rainbow, whatever you want to call it, rainbow arc, if that's the easiest method for you. But remember, you just take this number and we're just going to go through numerical increase in order. We're going to say 12 divided by 2 is 2 a factor? Does it go in evenly? 12 divided by 3 is 3 a factor? Does it go in evenly? And that's what you do until you get all the way up to 12. 12 is the end number. And then that would list all the factors of 12. So step 1 is to find all the factors of 12. Step 2, you're going to find all the factors of 16. So technically, step 1 is to find all the factors and make a factor list of your two numbers. So if we're trying to create a factored list of these two numbers, remember, the first factor is always the number itself because we know all numbers are divisible by them. They're all divisible by themselves, by the number themselves. Of themselves. So we start down here with number 1, and then we end with number 12. Okay. Then we make a comma. Okay. So next you're going to do, in your calculator, you're going to do 12 divided by 2. Does it go in evenly? And that is a yes. So 2 times 6 equals 12. Okay, next you're going to do in your calculator 12 divided by 3. Does 3 go into 12 evenly? That is also a yes. 3 times 4 equals 12. Okay, and we stop because remember the next number is 4. We already took care of 4. 4 times 3 is 12. So they're all the factors of 12. Now we move on to 16. So again, we always start with the number itself. So we have 1 and we have 16. Okay. So we know 1 times 16 equals 16. 16 is divided by itself. It's divisible by itself. Okay. Now we try 2. So remember the Unit 5, the last lesson was your divisibility rules. Remember, 2 is divisible by or all even numbers are divisible by 2. So we know 16 is an even number, so it's divisible by 2. And it goes in 8 times. So 2 times 8 is 16. 3. Now you're going to go into your calculator and say 16 divided by 3. Does 3 go into 16? So now you're going to think and say, if it doesn't go in evenly, it's not divisible. So 3 times 5 is 15 with a remainder of 1, so it doesn't go in evenly, so 3 is a no-go. So now we go to 4. So does 4 go into 16? That is a yes. 4 times 4 is 16. Now remember though, unless you're making that factor arc, you only write 4 once. So when you're making your factor list, I only write 4 one time. Okay? And since 4, that's your end number because it was 4 times 4, that's it. Ends at 4. Okay, so now I list all of my factors of 12. I listed all of my factors of 16. So now I'm simply asking you, what numbers do they have in common? Well, they both have 1. They both have 2. This one doesn't have 3, so 3 is no. They both have 4. This one doesn't have 6. This one doesn't have 8. This one doesn't have 12. This one doesn't have 16. So their common factors are 1, 2, and 4. That would be your final answer. Okay? They're your common factors. And that's how you find the common factors of any two numbers. So step 1, you're going to create a factor list of each of the two numbers. Then after you find your factor list, you're going to go through and see what numbers they have in common. That's step 2. You circle. So step 2, you're going to circle the common numbers. And then step 3, you just write them down, the common numbers. And that's it, finding the common numbers or the common factors of 2 different numbers. It could also be of 3 different numbers. So I could give you 3 different numbers and it could say, find the common factors of these 3 different numbers. And you do the same exact process. And then you just circle the factors that the 3 numbers have in common. Okay. All right. Have a great day.